Welcome to the divided states of America. Definitely not united. Don't know what to make about all this news, and I luckily got a wonderful reprieve from it. I took my little girl camping for a couple nights. Well, I can't say we went one night and it rained on us, and so we stayed in a hotel the second night. But I didn't watch any news. I listened to an audiobook, and it was so nice. I just wasn't paying attention to anything on social media, and I think everybody needs to have those kind of breaks. I think it's like, what the hell are you supposed to believe right now? Which side are you supposed to believe? Which camp is telling you the truth? I don't know. I've got some images from Portland I'm going to share with you. Just want to show this right now.
And the Department of Homeland Security have shown that this is an attack on our democracy.
Portland was totally out of control. The Democrats, the liberal Democrats running the place, had no idea what they were doing.
They're making it dangerous. They're making it dangerous because they come out with sticks and guns and shields to people out here with just mad. We are here because we want a better city, period. Period. Bottom line.
Anyway, so just pointing out, there's a lot of unrest going on, especially in Portland, Chicago. What to make of it? It's very hard to know what to make of it. I want to show you now a Salt Lake Tribune editorial piece written by a former ICE director, Jason Hauser, for the New York Times. This is his take on what's going on. He says, nearly 9 months into President Trump's second term, immigration enforcement has become the administration's primary political weapon, not to solve problems, but to manufacture fear, provoke outrage, and stage an illusion of control. This is a crisis. This isn't crisis response. It's crisis construction. He served as chief of staff of ICE. He, under Alejandro Mayorkas, I wouldn't say that was an effective administration for ICE, because we saw 11 million illegal immigrants come in through our borders at that period of time. So, but here he says, nearly 14,500 law enforcement agents have pulled off their investigations to do civil immigration work, including agents taken off the border. 3,000 Federal Bureau of Investigation agents were reassigned to do civil immigration enforcement instead, focusing their mission on national security. Talks about Chicago a little bit. So my take on this is that we live in two information universes. We live in two bipolar information universes. So I don't see this problem ever getting any better on who to believe, what to believe, until there's any kind of bridge between the two sides. So welcome to Beyond the Beehive. My name's Richard Marcosian. This is a segment of Utah Stories that we do where we try to create a bridge between these polar opposite divides we live in right now, where I want to share with you two sides of what we are getting and try to figure out what the actual truth is. So in the previous video I showed you, there are, in fact, many, many protesters out in the streets in Portland. They are disrupting ICE agents from doing their jobs. National Guard has been called out from California to go into Portland, and a judge ordered that National Guard be stopped. And from what we hear on the ground in Portland, Antifa is being assisted by the local police in Portland, Oregon. And why I'm looking at this is because obviously this looks like a flashpoint. If Portland basically just defies the federal government, as does Chicago potentially, and we keep sending federal National Guard into these states to get these state leaders to obey federal law, what's the next step other than the tearing apart of our society? You know, obviously these Democrat cities don't want to comply with Trump. And as we saw in the Salt Lake Tribune, we're just seeing that on the left, they view what Trump is doing as just manufacturing chaos, not trying to enforce the rule of law, but manufacturing chaos. I think everybody's trying to manufacture chaos. I think that the chaos is being supported, as I pointed out in last week's episode. Somehow somebody's funding these Antifa protesters. You can't spend 100 days, day after day after day, protesting ICE, disrupting ICE, unless you have no job and some kind of support. Where is that support coming from? I think it's being manufactured. I really do. I think Antifa is getting a lot more support than what we're finding out. And so here's a couple of clips I want to play for you concerning what I'm getting fed on my social media feed, and how it's kind of interesting what my social media algorithm believes that I want to see. Here's Kash Patel, FBI director, talking about the fighting crime in the United States.
That's enough to kill 55 million Americans alone. You had 45,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, and thanks to our Department of Justice partners, you had 2,100 indictments in 3 months, from June to September alone. Mr. President, that in and of itself would be historic for a 4-year presidency. You did that in 7 months because you let good cops be cops, and you partnered us with the right people at the Department of Justice to put the handcuffs on and bring them to court and put them in prison. And if that weren't enough, when you look at the year, for the entire 7-month period that we're talking about here, if you look at the past 4 years of the Biden administration, 16,000, 17,000, 15,000, 15,000. That's the number of arrests year over year of violent felons in this country for the Biden administration. Mr. President, in 7 months, you have 28,600 arrests of violent felons in just 7 months alone, because of your leadership and the dedication of the men and women at the FBI who want to go out there and do the job they were.
All right. So you could interpret that data that Director Patel is pointing out as being very, very good, very positive. 27,000 arrests compared to just in 7 months of Trump's presidency so far, compared to an average of 15,000 arrests under the Biden administration. We're seizing more and more drugs than we ever have under Biden. We're stopping more and more criminal drug trafficking from going on. Or you could say, oh, he's clamping down on the illegal immigrants and counting that as a violent drug offender. You could somehow spin that however you want. But here's my point. I think we needed more law and order. That is the main reason why Trump was elected. We did not have a secure border. The cities were deteriorating. Anybody could see that if they had two eyes. We needed more law and order, and Trump is taking a hard stance on producing more law and order. I don't think anybody can dispute that. But still, in the same Salt Lake Tribune I subscribe to and I read all the time, every single time there's a political cartoon about Trump and what's going on, it's negative toward Trump and negative toward ICE. Like what they are doing is bad. So I think everybody on the left, I would assume most everybody believes that what Trump is doing is bad and thinks our world is only getting worse. But if you have eyes in your head and you go look around and walk the city streets, and there is less drug trafficking and there are less criminal aliens walking around who are perpetrating and selling drugs to homeless people, I think that's a positive. So leave me a comment below if you think I'm wrong, if you've seen something different. But I think, in my opinion, more law and order is better than less law and order. But I want to address now the actual political divide in our country. It is so profound right now, especially the way the left views the right. So I've been going back and forth with an acquaintance of mine who he just likes to go back and forth with me on Instagram. And he has a lot to say about how I'm wrong. I'm totally fine being pointed out how somebody believes I'm wrong, because I think the spirit of good conversation and debate is the spirit of democracy. And so, but he really lives in a completely different universe than me. And here's a woman I found on Instagram pointing out how she just had her eyes open as a liberal on how she is taught to really hate the other side and hate conservatives, never believe them, And she talks about it with her relationship with her mother. I thought this was a good clip.
Put that below my allegiance to this ideology. And it wasn't until I turned the media off that I realized it was totally a program. And that's what's happening right now. They are programming us to believe that if you're on this side, you can't get along with people on that side. And it is total bullshit. The government is the same side. It's the same wealthy technocrats that are taking over society. So we all need to start getting along so that we can be free, okay? I allowed politics to ruin the relationship I had with my mother. That's right. For 3 years, when I was a diehard liberal, I was wearing the pink hat, I was marching against Donald Trump, I was doing all the things. I was listening to CNN every single day. And part of the program that CNN offers is telling you that people who don't think like you are bad people, they're racist people, they should all die. That is part of the program, and it is intentional so that it keeps us all divided.
Okay, so you saw that. And I absolutely agree with her. I think, why are our algorithms on social media definitely designed to affirm our own beliefs, to always tell us what we already believe and confirm over and over again? Oh, you hate Donald Trump? Oh, here's another clip to watch how much you hate Donald Trump. Oh, you hate the conservatives and MAGAs? Here's another clip to watch how bad you hate conservatives and MAGAs, or vice versa. Being somewhat in the middle, I watch the algorithm vacillate between anti-Trump stuff to pro-Trump, but now it's very much far pro-Trump, and people who are kind of swallowing that red pill, realizing we're all being duped into believing that this divide is all there is, and that the other side of the divide is the evil them, and we need to realize that this other side and group of people are the bad ones and we're all good ones. That is being manufactured. It's being manufactured by, I believe, technocrats. It's being pulled. It's being taught to us, and we're being all indoctrinated that we cannot trust each other anymore, that we can't have civil discourse anymore. Why is that? And I found one more clip I want to share with you. This is from Andrew Schultz talking about the same subject. I wish I could just play it from the beginning. Let's see. Hopefully this will play it from the beginning. Oh, turn it
right. Like, there are different. What this whole thing exposed to me is just like how fractured social media has made Americans, but also just like the world.
Oh, it's over.
Because like, no, for real. Because think about it, like, there is a different version of Charlie Kirk depending on who you are.
Yes.
And the algorithm will feed you the things that confirm your belief about that person. So if you're a like God-fearing right-wing Christian, you're going to get all this content about Charlie that speaks to that, about how important family is to him, about how important his Christianity, his beliefs are to him. And you're like, wow, this is a really great man. And then if you're a person that doesn't like conservative rhetoric and you think conservatives are bigots, you're going to get all of those 30-second clips with no context of all the things that he said. They're like, oh, I don't trust black pilots or whatever the thing he said. You're not going to get the whole conversation where that happened. You're not going to get anything that would actually give you nuance. So it's like the algorithm flattens all of us, you, me, Charlie, everybody, into these two-dimensional avatars. And then people watch 4 or 5 clips where people are reacting to that person. And then they go, oh, I guess this is what everybody thinks of that person. And then people feel really confident having these strong opinions on people that they do not know at all. I know this is like, and again,
oh, man. And that's so absolutely demonstrates exactly what I'm going through with talking to a guy on the complete opposite side who just, he believes Charlie Kirk is a bigot, sexist, misogynist, homophobe, because that's all he gets fed in his social media. And now all I get fed is these really inspiring, wonderful words that Charlie Kirk said. And it keeps affirming my belief that he's a great guy. So I had to spend hours upon hours upon hours watching Charlie Kirk videos. Okay, is he a racist? Maybe he is a racist. He said he was going to be suspicious about black pilots. What is the full context of that? He was talking about DEI hires, right? He was talking about if you are getting put to the top of the list of the hiring protocol. If you happen to have black skin, as opposed to being the best pilot, you're going to be suspicious of that hire. That's what Charlie Kirk was talking about in that context. But you have to watch the whole video. If you take things out of context, you can make Charlie Kirk look like an absolute racist. And so that's what I see is happening. And whether you're on the side of Antifa in Portland and Chicago, or you are on the side of the ICE agents who have a job to do, they're hired to do their job, and the National Guard is now backing up ICE, you're going to see the world in two different ways. And perhaps that is an issue that we're not going to come back together on. Perhaps, I don't know how it's going to be solved, actually. I don't know how the two sides can come together on what should happen with this issue, because the mayors, the governors are basically blocking ICE from doing their job, blocking the mandate of the voters of Donald Trump from getting what they wanted. So I don't see what's going to happen with that. But on a better note, I just wanted to point out Utah here has had its wettest October of all recorded history. This is looking incredible. I bought a season's pass. I'm not going to say where to, because I actually am not going to promote this resort, because I'm not a super huge fan of the resort. But I bought my first season's pass in 25 years. I am getting so stoked about going skiing. And the mountains are all dusted in snow. I think there's about 6 inches up in Snowbird and Alto right now. So awesome to see all this rain. Awesome to see the rivers filling up with water. It was really fun in Moab this past couple of days with all the pools out in the bar trails filled with water. And so keep your eye on the world in front of you, the natural world. Don't get too sucked down these media portrayals of what's going on and all the spin, and focus on your local community. And that's what I encourage people to do. Like, if you go on a walk anywhere in Utah, just about anywhere, you're going to see cool stuff going on in your neighborhood and stuff that you can get involved with. And we just had on a couple of podcast guests, and my call to action was just put this thing away, turn it off for a while, and go get involved in what's going on around you in your own neck of the woods. And one of the best ways you can do that is by going out and picking up our current issue of Utah Stories magazine. This is a guide to the very best of local Utah. We have incredible advertisers, really cool stories. We have a farm animal rescue story. We went out to this place to give away 2 of our roosters that my wife would not let me butcher. She said we have to find a better home for these roosters. And we have a really awesome story about what's going to happen near Sugar House Park, where they were going to build a hotel, but they actually might not be able to build that hotel now. Get involved with what's going on, because you can actually make a difference on what's going on in your local community. Whereas nationally, with what's going on in Washington, D.C., you cannot make a difference unless you happen to be Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. You're not going to be able to affect politics unless you have big-time money to throw at those guys and lobby them. And so check out all of our amazing advertisers in Utah Stories, the Green Pig Pub, Cafe Molise, and then check out our brunch guide. It's truly awesome. As the weather gets cold, brunch just tastes better and better. And I have a story in the beginning why I like getting my brunch fix on Saturday or Sunday. Go for a long hike in the morning. Do a little bit of intermittent fasting. Don't eat until 11:30. Go have brunch, and this will tell you how to do that. So go out, visit utahstories.com, become a free digital subscriber. With that, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.